It all started in a small coffee shop in the heart of the city. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the sound of baristas calling out orders mingled with the chatter of people. She walked in and saw him sitting at a corner table, lost in thought. She couldn't help but notice his striking features, from his sharp jawline to his piercing blue eyes. He looked up and their eyes met, and she felt her heart skip a beat. She made her way to the counter, and he watched her as she ordered her drink. They exchanged a smile as she walked past him to find a seat. It was a busy day, and all the tables were taken except for the one across from him. She hesitated for a moment, but he gestured for her to sit down. They struck up a conversation, and it was like they had known each other for years. He told her about his passion for music, and she shared her love for art. They talked for hours, lost in each other's company. As the sun began to set, he walked her to her car. They exchanged numbers, and she couldn't help but feel a flutter in her chest as he gave her a hug goodbye. From that day on, they were inseparable. They spent their days exploring the city, trying new foods, and making each other laugh. Months turned into years, and their love only grew stronger. They shared everything with each other, from their dreams to their deepest fears. They knew they were meant to be together, and talked about their future plans, like traveling the world and starting a family. But as fate would have it, life had other plans for them. One day, he got an offer to join a famous band as a lead guitarist, and he couldn't pass it up. She was happy for him, but also worried about what it would mean for their relationship. They agreed to make it work, no matter what. He spent months on tour, traveling from city to city, and she stayed back home, trying to support him as best she could. They talked on the phone every night, but it wasn't the same as having him there with her. She missed him terribly, but didn't want to burden him with her sadness. As time went on, the distance between them grew. They became strangers to each other, and the conversations that used to flow so easily now felt forced. She knew he was busy with his music, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he was slipping away from her. She tried to talk to him about it, but he always seemed too busy or too tired to listen. One day, she got a call from him. He told her he had met someone else on tour, and that he didn't know how to tell her. She felt like her world was falling apart. All the plans they had made, all the dreams they had shared, had been shattered in an instant. She didn't know how to react, so she hung up the phone. Days turned into weeks, and she couldn't bring herself to face him. She knew she had to talk to him eventually, but the pain was too much to bear. She spent her days in bed, crying herself to sleep every night. She couldn't eat, couldn't work, couldn't think about anything else but him. Finally, she mustered up the courage to meet him in person. They met at the same coffee shop where they had first laid eyes on each other. He looked different now, with longer hair and a tired look in his eyes. She couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness at how much things had changed. He apologized for everything, but she couldn't find it in her heart to forgive him. She had given him her all, and he had thrown it all away for someone else. He tried to explain that it wasn't that simple, that he still loved her, but she couldn't bring herself to believe him. As they sat in silence, she realized that it was truly over. The love that had once filled her heart was now replaced with emptiness and pain. She got up to leave, and he followed her outside. They stood there for a moment, looking at each other, not knowing what to say. Finally, he spoke up. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'll always love you, no matter what." She looked at him one last time, tears streaming down her face, and walked away. It was the end of their love story, and there was nothing either of them could do to change it. Months passed, and she slowly started to pick up the pieces of her life. She threw herself into her art, and started to see the beauty in the world again. She met new people, tried new things, and found a sense of peace that she had never felt before. But deep down, she knew that a part of her would always love him. He was her first love, the one who had shown her what it meant to be truly happy. Even though their love story had a sad ending, she knew that it had also given her the strength to move on and find happiness in other places. Years went by, and she heard from mutual friends that he had gotten married and started a family. She was happy for him, but also couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness. She wondered what could have been if things had turned out differently. But in the end, she knew that their love story had played out exactly as it was supposed to. It had taught her to love deeply, to never give up on her dreams, and to always have faith in the power of love. And for that, she would always be grateful.